But this time Azure, they pick up the Chen first phase.
10 seconds to go.
So they're gonna bring the pressure, I think. Of course, last game, that's exactly what they did. But, you know, they're like, hey, this strategy, it worked for us. So we're just gonna stick to it. We're gonna make sure that you never get to that stage where you have Natsumi that is huge and Cox getting his items and Jing, Mac, you know, everyone getting what they want from the game. No, you don't get that. We're just gonna push your high ground at 30 minutes and there is nothing you can do. Ooh, Geek fam, they pick up the Weaver first phase. So they're like, you know, we couldn't win in a regular game of Dota, so we're gonna abuse bugs. Anyway, Geek fam also banning out the Doom, Phoenix, Nature's Prophet, and Magnus. And Azure, aside from banning the Meepo in the first phase, again, they ban out the Timbersaw and the Techies. So, with Weaver already being picked up, that is a bit unusual. It's not the weirdest thing we've seen, because Weaver, I would say, is one of the meta-ish carries. He isn't up there like something like the Morphling would be, or the Luna, or even the Naga, but he's still, you know, one of those heroes that are like pretty decent in most games. He has some matchups that are really bad, like I would say against Faceless Void, he's pretty darn bad, if he's played as a carry, that is. But overall, I think he's a pretty decent hero. I do think that Geek fam is one of the teams that can actually play the Weaver position 4 as well. So if Azure were to pick up the Lu Voids right now, then they would just put the Weaver as a position 4 and pick a carry that does well against Void. So we'll see what they can do. We have the Wyvern banned out for Azure, which is a good ban against Chen, because Chen tends to indicate that you're gonna go for some kind of early push draft and you're gonna have a lot of units. So having the deep push and like the team killing potential of the Wyvern is very strong against such a draft. Wyvern has been out of meta for like, I want to say like the past few years, but recently he's seen somewhat of a resurgence. So seeing him banned out so soon is no big surprise. Geek fam banning out the Luna, which is, I would say, the strongest hero for this kind of lineup where you want to push quickly. We saw in the final best of 1 of today that a Luna in the early game and mid game can be a very strong carry, but tends to fall off a little bit later, so that fits a hero like Chen really well. Just getting that early power spike and going for the quick timing push. But Geek fam, they're already afraid of the pushes and they pick up a Coddle. Keeper of the Light. A hero that throughout its lifespan has mostly been a support hero, but in the past few years has been played maybe just as often as a mid laner, which I thought was an interesting development. But he's a very fun hero to watch, very aggressive, very cocky. So we'll see what Geek fam opts to go for. And Azure, they pick up the top hero from this tournament so far, the Mars. He is the hero that has been picked up the most often, and they pick up a Lion as well, which is another like top 5 hero. Both of them aren't doing like that well in terms of win rate, at a 55 and 43% win rate respectively. But still, they are undoubtedly very strong heroes. I do think they don't synergize super well with the Chen, because with the Chen you would expect heroes that are really strong like early mid game, and then to just roll over the enemy team. And both Mars and Lions are heroes that don't mind taking it a little bit late, and they are a little bit reliant on their items before they're effective. Because when you play like Mars without Blink, BKB and potentially Refresher, you don't really feel like a hero. And it's the same for Lion. If you're just like a level 4 Lion running around with no boots, it feels really bad. But later in the game, when you have like a Blink, a Glimmer, and Ether Lens, you're a true powerhouse. So Azure showing some flexibility here in this draft. We'll see what they can do with this. So Geek fam, they go for the Lifestealer, which is a hero that you would think is pretty darn good against Mars, because Mars is a very, very tanky hero. But I actually don't think he's that good, all things considered. Because Mars also, you know, you can't kill him in a single rage. He has the Bulwark, which, like, I don't think it's great, especially in lane, because then you don't really have a lot of points in rage yet, and if you get close, you're just gonna get slowed down and stunned, and it's not a great time. I do think it's interesting that they pick up the Lifestealer, which means that the Weaver is probably gonna be a support. Or it's gonna be like some weird mid or offlane kind of super experimental kind of pick, but I would expect it to be a position 4 or 5. And they pick up a Pango as well. So they were impressed by Ori last game, and they're like, you know, you have Ori, we have Mac, we can do the same thing you did to us. And that's gonna solve a lot of their disable problems as well. Because when you look at their first 3 heroes in the Weaver, the Collo, and the Lifestealer, yeah, they have no stunts whatsoever. And still, it's gonna be a bit hard for them to skirmish, because now their only source of disables is a big ulti, which isn't ideal. Yeah, and Azure just responds with a Void. They're like, yeah, you have the position 4 Weaver, which could be very good against Void, but at the same time, you have almost no disables, so how are you ever going to kill a Void? We'll find out soon enough, but yeah, that is a good Void game, I would say. All they're lacking right now is a bit of damage on Azure, I would say. They have the Finger, Void and Mars have decent damage, but they need that big mid laner that can drop the hammer. I wouldn't mind seeing something like an OD potentially. It's a classic combination with the Void. Puck just got banned, so that's not really an option. Of course, Invoker is very strong as well, together with Void. And I think Invoker Chen is really nice too, because you have like the Alacrity and the Creeps, so you have good push. What else is there? You could go for a mid. Pagna is actually quite good against Lifestealer. Not great against Pango though, so wouldn't really expect to see that one. What else is still in the pool? I think Spirit Breaker would be insane as well. Like, it doesn't synergize with Void at all, but if you look at this Geek fam lineup, they have nothing that can stop the charge. Literally nothing. I mean, figuratively. So, let's see. Viper being banned out. Azure, bit afraid of it now. They're like, oh, we just completely destroyed you with it last game. We don't want that to happen to us. And we see a Zeus ban as well from Geek fam. So that's another hero that could provide the damage that Azure is lacking somewhat. So one more ban for Azure as well. And I'm still not really sure what Geek fam needs here. I think they need either some really strong lane dominator to make sure that Azure never gets any items on the Mars Lion and the Void, or they need a hero that just has a stun. Potentially both. So let's see, Azure is thinking about it just as hard as I am. Which heroes are still in the pool that would be nice? I think Jakiro would be quite nice. It has a stun. It's quite strong in lane. It has some push as well, which is another thing that Geek fam doesn't have too much of. So we'll see. I think it's like a 5 Koddle, 4 Weaver, 2 Pango, 1 Lifestealer. So they would just need an offlaner. Maybe yes. Oh, actually they banned the Naga. What? They banned the Naga? If they picked Naga for Geek fam, that would have been straight up griefing. I swear to goodness. So Azure, they have like 30 seconds left and they go for Alina. Okay, so That is the hero that solves the damage issues, and Geek fam, they pick the spider. They're like, yep, we're just gonna pick some cheese, you know? Gonna pick that offlane brute. Okay. I mostly see it mid these days, but I guess you don't really want to play it against Lina, so they pick brute. To me, this is showing that maybe they don't really have the full confidence in themselves to win this in like a quote-unquote regular game of Dota. And I'm not sure if I like this actually. Because yeah, it's strong against Void, Lion, and Lane. I would expect it to have a good amount of fun there, but I feel like in the mid game, Azure could just rotate back or fade beyond to the top lane, and he's just gonna be completely fine against this brute. So yeah, it's certainly an interesting draft from Geek fam, and I like the Pungo. I think the Lifestealer is it's not a great matchup against Void. It's quite nice against Lion and Lina, I suppose. But I'm just not really feeling it, to be honest. I think that draft could work. I think the Brood is interesting. But all things considered, I would just give it to Azure. I feel like that draft is so all-encompassing. They have the disables with the Mars. They have the Lina, which is just strong in lane. Provides a lot of damage. They have one of the top carries in the Faceless Void. They have some pressure with the Chen. So, yeah, I feel like this could just be a quick 2-0. But there is only one way to find out, of course. We're about to get into the game. But no, actually, we're not, because we have a pause. So we're just gonna be stuck on my face a little bit longer. So do we have any surprises? I feel like having the pos 4 Weaver is very fun. And usually I would say that the longer a game goes on, the more difficult it's gonna be to play against the Faceless Void. But the position 4 Weaver changes this a little bit. Because I feel like Void is never gonna be able to hit his real cap. Because the strong thing about Void is that later in the game, he gets to this point where, you know, you just really can't do anything about this Chrono. Chrono is just a button that removes a hero from the game, and there is almost no counterplay. But with a position 4 Weaver, you actually have a chance. And Lifestealer isn't the best late game carry, but he's still pretty darn good. Just having a built-in like 7-second BKB with extra movement speed is pretty crazy. 7.5 with the talent. FY getting a bit close here, but yeah, he's fine.
30 seconds to go.
I'm so curious about this bottom lane for Geek fam. They have a spider and a bug. Usually those aren't the best of friends, but I think they can make it work. Up against a Chen Void lane. There really isn't that much kill potential there, but I feel like the Void should be able to get a decent amount of farm still. Luke taking a good amount of damage here, but Jing, he steals the bounty rune, which was severely needed, so it's gonna be a 2-for-2. In terms of bounty runes, nothing too special there, and no huge clashes like in the previous game. I feel like I'm mostly gonna keep my eye on this bottom lane, just seeing if this brute can make some magic happen.
You thought you had me, didn't you?
I think there is a bit more kill potential in the top lane with the Lion plus Mars, but this lane is just very interesting. I want to see how they play this. Web hasn't been skilled up either, so this is really unusual. Actually going for the Bola first, I guess, to secure the range creep together with the Shikuchi, just like 2 nukes. So I spoke about this before, but oh, actually they get the deny. That is big. Just the first few waves are really important, because if you stop the enemy from getting denies, you get level 2 after 2 waves, which gives you a huge spike in terms of power. You can actually try to get a kill with that level 2 against level 1. So getting that deny is huge. means that the Void is gonna get so much extra space. And this is what I spoke about as well with the Lifestealer. Yes, he has the Feast, so he's lifestealing on every hit on the Mars, who has a lot of HP already. But at the same time, the moment he comes close, he's just gonna get rebuked and impaled. And you don't really have the ability to just spam Rage, because you literally don't have Rage, and even if you get it at like level 2 or 3, you don't really have the mana, and the cooldown is quite long as well. So I'm curious to see how Natsumi is gonna do in this lane. I could really see him struggle. Of course, having a Koddle spamming Blinding Light does help. It certainly helps. In the meantime, we see some Ori dominance in the mid lane again. It's not quite as severe as last game, where we had like a 5 denied difference. But he's doing very well in this mid lane already. Getting some nice denies, and Mac doesn't have his bottle yet. Needs to be a bit careful here. Of course, Dragon Slave is still on cooldown, so he should be fine. Ori? Just, you know, tanking some casual tower shots here. He doesn't care. When you're Ori, you don't have to care about towers. That's something for the mortals among us. So far, Cox on this Brute Mata is doing a pretty darn good job here. Usually Brute struggles in the first like 2-3 levels, because he really doesn't have that much. Because level 1 web is like some really weak passive that just gives you a bit of regen and 10% movement speed. And Bola level 1 is also, yeah, it's like 90 damage. You can secure some last hits, but it's really not great. But he is doing a really nice job at the start of this game. Keeping up and even surpassing the Void in terms of CS and denies. Who's gonna get the CS? It's gonna be Jing. It's always nice to get those neutral last hits. Natsumi taking a lot of damage here. Still having a free skill point. Actually, no. He's not gonna put it into Rage. Just another point into Feast. And it's gonna be 0.6% extra healing. Which on a Mars is like 6 extra healing per hit. Which really isn't that great for a skill point. But that's the thing about Lifestealer. Most of his skill points really aren't that great until mid to late game. Because 1% of someone's max HP at the start is like 6. But in the late game that could easily be like 40. So Ori 23 and 6 up against a 17 and 2 Mac. Of course, Lina is favored in this matchup. But I've said this before and I will say it again. Pango doesn't really care about matchups. Even if he gets completely destroyed, as long as he gets his level 6 before like 8 minutes or something, he's gonna be a useful hero in the game. He's gonna be able to make those rotations, make those plays happen, get his diffusal, get his agonyms, and skill like a beast. I like this play as well from Mac. He knows that CSing is kind of difficult and just staying in lane, so he just goes and gets the bounty rune. Because the wave was in tower range anyway. Also, I have to say I'm quite impressed about this top lane for Geek fan. Because Faith Beyond has been struggling a little bit. Like his CS is still quite good, but he's super low, so it's hard to put under pressure. I was expecting the Lifestealer to struggle more. I still think Azure is gaining an advantage in this lane, but not as much as I was perhaps expecting. So let's see, Brute going for a Soul Ring, just to spam those skills. But he's not really gonna be able to put on all of the pressure until he hits level 6. He gets those spiders rolling. And that's gonna be the moment where Faith Beyond is gonna rotate, I think.
A golden thread.
Would expect Bach or Fate Beyond to go for a quick blink. Yeah, Natsumi. He is enjoying his 3 levels in Feast here. It looks like Void is just going for basic treads. Afterwards, I would expect something like a Mask of Madness or a Maelstrom. Just a basic Void build. Ooh, bit of a rotation from the Weaver. What is he trying to do here? Oh, he's going for the Wisdom Rune still. I don't think it's gonna work though. Yeah, the Lion is already in position. Oh, FY going for the blind stun. That's why they pay him the big bucks. Needs to be a little bit careful. You don't really want to 1v1 a Weaver. Yeah, he should be fine. Just TP's out. There hasn't been a first blood yet, so it was a bit risky, but he's gonna be completely fine. We see a pause coming out. Let's see. I haven't seen a reason just yet. Oh, just something small. Luckily, no big pauses here. And the Brood did hit his level 6, so this is when he's really gonna be able to put on the pressure here. And Void can still stay in lane for now, but once we see a few more spiders, I don't really expect him to stay for much longer. Ooh, we see a rotation actually towards the top lane. We saw a roll coming out, but it wasn't enough to kill Fate Beyond. And now Ori is there as well with the Laguna Blade, and it's actually gonna be Mac who's in trouble. Just one more hit and Ori gets the first blood. So the rotation did come out from the Pango like I mentioned, but it just wasn't enough to get the kill onto Mars. He's gonna be very happy with his double bracer build. That's kind of the problem of Lifestealer as well. You have this beautiful Pango rotation coming out, but the Lifestealer just doesn't really do that much right now. Yes, he can right click, but he hits for 80 damage, and then I guess 3% max HP, which is like 30 on Mars. So his right clicks hit for like 100 damage, which is then reduced by Bulwark and Armor as well. So it's maybe gonna be like 60 damage per hit. Yeah, it's not great. $1K lead in favor of Azure. But Geek Fam is cleaning up some stacks now, which is always nice. Getting those neutral items, working towards his Diffusal Blade. And on the bottom lane, Spider is slowly amassing his army. Just skipping waves. Yeah, and there we have the Fate Beyond rotation. It was a matter of time. No other hero can really stop this. Even Lina can't. Because Lina is super risky. Because if you miss your LSA, you're just gonna die to spiders. I think they want to go for some kind of kill.
I'm sensing a pattern.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen. There was vision on the cliff, but I feel like AR is gonna have to know that there was vision on the cliff, right? It seems quite obvious, just seeing how defensively the Weaver and the Broodmother were suddenly playing. I feel like you would have to suspect something.
Dire's bottom tower's getting the business. My thrift reward.
Cox going for an Orchid, which is, for those of you who are not aware, a really insane build. Because once you buy a Bloodthorn, every single hit on a target is gonna deal like 60 bonus magic damage or something ridiculous like that. And that counts spiders. So if you have 20 spiders hitting, that is like 1200 damage every second, which is insane. It's truly ridiculous. I don't see this like not getting patched out next patch. It's utterly bonkers. Ooh, Ori actually going for the Roots of Travel. It's like an old school Lina build where you just went BOTs into BKB every single game. But Ori, a bit more greedy, going for a Gleipnir. Rotation coming towards the mid, but Ori is so fast. Even if you do commit the Rolling Thunder, without having the Diffusal Blade, it's almost impossible to catch up. That should do it though. Nice rotation by the Kodo. The Weaver is actually gonna fall though with the finger. So there is a return kill. Chrono now coming out onto the Kodo, who's completely out of mana, out of luck. Do they have the damage? Nice Impale from the low ground, the high ground coming out from FY. And they are gonna find the 2-for-1 here. But still, that was a nice kill onto the Lina with the... what's it called? I always forget the name. But the ulti slow from the Kodo. Natsumi working towards his armlet. Brood still just doing Brood things, and like expected, Fate Beyond rotated to the bottom lane, just having a good time. Because once the spiders can close, you can clear them out really easily with the God's Rebuke. Because spiders have a decent amount of magic resistance, but not that much armor. So having an AoE physical damage skill is really helpful. So just a 1k lead right now for AR. I feel like it's only gonna keep increasing. Because if you look at the Brood positioning, this is not really where he wants to play, right? If you play a Brood, you really want to put on the pressure. You want to take over the entire enemy jungle. Because that's kind of why you pick this hero. But he has to play so defensively, almost at his own triangle. He's sneaking in a few hard camps, but it's kind of a struggle. They're gonna try to make a play onto Fate Beyond, but I don't think they have the damage, especially with both FY and Qianming behind. So it's looking darn good for Azure in this game too. Luke going for a Maelstrom. He should have it in the courier here. And then Amanta's gonna be next. Not opting for the Mask of Madness. He's like, yeah, I don't need that extra burst of damage. Meanwhile, they get a small pick off in the Radiant jungle, so Geek fan's gonna be happy with that one. And they should be able to deal a good amount of damage onto this tier 1. Actually, we see a nice Laguna Blade from Ori. I really like that he didn't show himself to clear out the spiders. Instead, he just runs up to the trees, gets a blind LSA, and gets the kill onto the Weaver, who isn't level 6 yet. Which is quite late. Qianming just surviving all of the spells from Mac. Rolling Thunder wasn't enough. This Chen, so tanky. He didn't even commit his ulti. I'm not sure if it was ready previously, but he's like, nah, I don't need it. Oh my goodness, I'm just missing every single kill. Ori gets another one. How did they get it? I guess with the Mars ulti was enough. Ooh, Azure is just making plays everywhere right now. Really wasn't expecting Ori to be able to get a kill without his Laguna, but nice rotation by Fate Beyond. And this Brood hasn't been paying off so far. Like, you really want to have your Orchid at this point. It's 14 minutes. Brood really relies on getting an early advantage. On the bright side for Geek fam, the Fusel Blade is up for Pango, and that is a big timing. Just makes him so much stronger, like 200 extra damage and mana drain on your Swashbuckle. Or I guess it's 160, but it's still a lot. And then the slow as well, when you're using your Rolling Thunder, it's pretty darn great. Weaver does finally have his level 6. In fact, he has his level 7. Courtesy of the Wisdom Rune, I suspect. And AR are going for some kind of play on this tier 1 tower, hoping that Geek fam tries to defend. Yeah, no way that's happening. No way that's happening. Are they gonna go for a Roche? Nah. Do they? Do they want to go Roche? Nah. Nah, they're not going Roche. They have a DD on Lina. Oof, but why did we see a Rolling Thunder? Just a casual Rolling Thunder, I guess. Also, it's worth mentioning that this game actually has a lifestealer in it. We haven't seen him at all. He hasn't really done much. But I guess that's par for the course on lifestealer. They just don't do that much. Jhin just chilling in the mid lane. Just defending this tower. AR has been doing quite a good job defending the towers. They've only lost the tier 1 at 16 minutes against the Brute. We're gonna be really happy with that one. FY. Taking a bit of damage here, but he should be completely fine. The Orchid is finally up. Finally on this Brute. But I'm not even sure if he can kill that many heroes with this. Because yeah, he has it now, but he's playing on the opposite side of the map to the Void. And Void is getting a Manta. So he should be able to dispel it like 3-4 minutes from now. And then getting a silence on something like a Mars or a Lina just doesn't really do that much. Especially with Luna getting a Gleipnir soon. I guess this is nice. Getting a kill on FY. I don't think they can really transition this into an objective. And as a result, I don't really think it matters that much. Natsumi gets himself on the board. Getting a nice kill on the Chen. With the armlet, he deals a decent amount of damage, which is nice. But still, I'm still worried for Geek fam. They're putting some pressure on this tier 1, but it's just so incredibly slow. And just Faith Beyond runs in, clears another creep wave. It's unbelievable that Azure with this lineup has more towers than Geek fam at 17 minutes into the game. Just a testament to how well AR is playing right now. Scam working towards a mechanism. They really want to make sure that once we see the first few team fights that Geek fam takes it convincingly, because it's almost the only chance they have. Because if this game goes late, even with the Weaver 4 against the Faceless Void, I just don't think they have a chance. Natsumi going for a Radiance. Quite a common build on Lifestealer. Just getting that Armlet, Orb of Corrosion, Phase Boot, so you can fight early, and then getting the Radiance to really skill into a big late game threat. AR is gonna get another tower. There is gonna be a nice kill onto the Chen in this mid lane. Or is there? No, they aren't even gonna get this. Chen just too tanky. Freaking 1400 HP. A lot of healing. The Pavis as well. And once again, they don't get the tier 1. FY is gonna be in a bit of trouble. Yeah, he's gonna miss the stun. There is no way he escapes with his life here. He tries to get a CS. But yeah, I'm dead. Might as well try. But still, I can't believe this tier 1 is still up.
You thought you had me, didn't you? You thought you had me, didn't you?
Let's see, where is the Bloodthorn? Oh, there is no Bloodthorn. He's just getting straight BKB. And I think this is the right call. Because if you look at this AR lineup, they have so many disables. Like, you can have your Bloodthorn, but it doesn't matter if you're just stunned all the time. Weaver, just, you know, doing Weaver things. Chilling. Could see a big clash here. Arena comes out onto the Brute Mother, and with the finger, there's just too much damage. Ooh, and Mac could be in trouble as well. LSA comes out. Just a few more right clicks down. He goes as well. That's another 2 heroes dead for Geek fam, and they didn't even have to commit the Chrono or the Laguna. Just an Arena. Did AR have vision or no? That was just a really nice jump from Fate Beyond. As was to be expected. Relic is up for Natsumi. And Lifestealer is keeping pace with the Void. And I would expect him to maybe pull ahead a little bit once he gets the Radiance. But not that much, because Void, he does have the Maelstrom for himself. So he doesn't farm too slowly himself either. He has a Grove Bow as well, which is quite funny. Because the attack speed only works on ranged heroes, but just the magic damage amplification and attack speed is so good on Void. Solar Crest now up on the Chen. Nice steroid for either the Void or the Lina. Just a huge skeleton army. No one is safe from Mr. Skeleton. And now Manta is up on the Void, so Bloodthorn or Orchid no longer really matter onto the Brute. I'm not sure how Geekfam's gonna be able to fight. We do see both teams smoked right now. We could see a bit of a clash here. Is there vision for either of the teams? Doesn't look like it. What is AR gonna go for here? They could try to go for Roche, but they don't really have the best lineup for it. Oh, and finally we see the mid tier 1 fall. Well done, Geek Fam. Just one more tier 1 to go, and it is gonna be a Roche attempt from AR. But Geek Fam is not gonna let this go uncontested. They're coming in with a smoke. What can they find here? We see Roche slowly dropping 3k HP, 2k HP. And Geek Fam is gonna be too late. Aegis is already gonna be on the side of Azure Ray. They can still try to go for a fight, but I don't see it going well. Chan is a bit out of position. That's gonna be a nice start of the fight. Good kill, but here we see the arena. Natsumi is gonna be stuck here. In the arena, we have a Chrono coming out as well. Laguna Blade, down goes the Void. Just no chance. Rolling Thunder coming out onto Ori, but he has an Aegis still. So he doesn't really care too much about this. And now we see the Hex onto the Brood as well. Few right clicks, down he goes. There is no Orchid, but it doesn't really do anything. And Mac has to run away as well. Ooh, almost gets spear to a tree as well. Geek Fam still committing for the fight there, feeling like they can maybe take one when they get the pick off on the Chen, but we see the Chrono come out and there is just no counterplay for that. And they didn't even get the Aegis, so I have no idea how Geek Fam is gonna deal with this Lina, who now has BKB and Gleipnir at 23 minutes on top of BOTs. This is quite a chunky Lina, put it like that. Now going for a Daedalus as well. Ori has been putting on a masterclass in these past 2 games. Just so incredibly dominant. And Lou is just enjoying the space he's getting. Like, he's just not pressured at all on this Void. Just has all the time in the world. Ooh, Gleipnir coming out onto the Brute, who doesn't have his BKB yet. Laguna comes out as well. Mech, is it gonna be enough? Nice spear back from Fate Beyond. Could be in trouble now as well. Gets out the arena. Doesn't really have anything for his spear. Ori commits on the scam. Down he goes. Jing is gonna fall as well, and Natsumi needs to be careful here. We see a lot of rolls coming out, but another Gleipnir, and down goes the Lifestealer as well. That was a 4v5 that ends up in a 4-for-1. Ori is just a freaking beast. Mac trying to defend this top tower. He does have his Aghanim, so this Pango is actually quite strong. And I think once the BKBs get a bit lower for the Lina, he's gonna be able to have some more impact in these fights. But the Brute really needs his BKB as well. Because we could see just the Gleipnir coming out was a death sentence. Just nothing he could do. Blue now with a Mjolnir as well. I feel like he's getting to the point where he can pretty much solo kill Lifestealer in a Chrono. He has the extra time lock damage. I feel like once he hits level 20 with the talent where he gets attack speed in Chrono, that's the point where Lifestealer is just gonna die in a single Chrono. I think Pango already dies in a single Chrono, even though he has 2k HP.
I'm sensing a pattern.
Lifestealer is gonna need a bit more love. Of course, that is just a solo Chrono. Any hero dies if Ori is close. Ori still 90 seconds left on his Aegis now with the Crystallis as well. I wonder what Geek Fam is planning to do about this game. If there is a specific timing they're waiting for, or what their plan is. Because for Azure it seems kind of obvious, right? They have a lead, they have strong heroes, they have an Aegis left. They're just gonna ride this wave, but I wonder if Geek Fam what their plan is right now to deal with this Lina. Because for now, Natsumi is still farming. Oh, he's going for an Aghanims, actually. That is an interesting choice. Just trying to get inside of this Lina, or this Void. You're like, yeah, maybe I can straight up man fight, but just jumping inside them and killing them from the inside out. That's a pretty decent plan. It's just that the disables are still a bit lacking, so maybe they need something like a Scythe of Vice on the Brood at some point, but he's just kind of poor. He needs his BKB, which he finally has, but now he needs the Bloodthorn to deal any damage, and then he needs a Hex as well with Scam. Running in, they do find Fate Beyond, they cancel the Blink. The Swarm is kind of missed. I'm not sure if this is the fight that they really want to take. Natsumi runs into Ori. Ori still has 10 seconds of Aegis left. Maybe they can time this perfectly. Arena comes out onto Natsumi though. Rage is gone. So Natsumi is gone and all of Geek Fam is falling. Mac, can he get enough damage onto Ori? Finally the Aegis runs out. And it's going to be a 2-for-1 in favor of Azure, only losing their Chen. And Weaver isn't out of the woods just yet. Nice spear by Fate Bian. And there is no time lapse. There is a Shikuchi though. Can he escape? The dust did run out. And they find Scam on the back lines as well. Jing is going to escape. And Mac, he's in trouble as well. Oh, just 1 or 2 more hits. Can he get the blink? It doesn't look like it. Just 2 more hits. Down he goes. It's going to be a 4-for-1 at the end of the day. Geek Fam just getting crushed in this fight. That was almost beautiful. Trying to kill Ori when the Aegis ran out, but he was just too strong. They couldn't even kill him once. They just really need more damage and more disable and more D-push. Yeah, I'm not sure what they can do here. Let's wait for the Aghanims and see if that makes a big difference. Fate Beyond has his Lotus Orb, which means that the Bloodthorn isn't as threatening anymore on the Brood, because it can just be dispelled by Fate Beyond on any hero. Aghanims is being built on the Weaver, which is nice against the Chrono, but I don't think that the Void is the big threat in this game. I think it's all about the Lina. Ori TPing bots. Just chilling. I feel like no matter what, Geek Fam cannot allow Azure to get another Aegis. I feel like that would be the end of the game. So it's just gonna be 1 minute until Roche can spawn. So they need to make something happen now. They go for a smoke, they push out the mid lane. If they can get the jump onto the Lina and take her down, that would be huge. They just don't have that much disable. They would need to find the roll onto the Lina, find the chain stun before she gets off the BKB. But AR is like, okay, we'll just keep pressuring high ground. I'm not sure where you guys are. And there they finally reveal the smoke, so Chanming puts down some wards instantly and he's like, team, help me please, thank you. But this Chen is so freaking tanky. Vlad, Soda Crest, Pipe. Even the Dandelion Amulet providing another 300 shield. And Ori with his DD, he's like, yeah, I'm just gonna hit your towers, I have DD, you can't stop me. And that's another Medirex. Roll comes out now as well. Can they burst down this Lina? That's the question. No. Beautiful chrono by Lu. Catching both of the big cores. Natsumi, his rage expires, and he just gets deleted from the game. Speaking about getting deleted, this is not done yet. Ori just destroying everyone beyond godlike. Triple kill. GG is called. Azure dominates Geek Fam. I wasn't sure about the Brood, and they couldn't make it work. Azure is looking freaking immense.